Karens don't call the manager anymore. They call ICE. And in Georgia, that phone call shut down a whole plant. So over the weekend, ICE raided the Hyundai plant in Georgia. And you know who set it off? A woman named Tori Branham. Yeah, Tori picked up the phone and called ICE like she was reporting noise in the neighborhood to the HOA president. But no, she was reporting workers. And here's the kicker. She's running for Congress as a Republican. Now here's the part they don't really want you to know. Most of those workers from the raid were not undocumented. They were actually here legally through a government program. The government knew it, and Tori knew it too when she made the call. But still, ICE showed up anyway. Because see, let's be real. None of this is ever about legality. It's about making sure folks know they're not welcome. And that, you all, is the American-made truth. When Karens run out of neighbors to call on, they go call the feds. Because see, Karens are American-born, bred, and raised. And their natural habitat is other people's business. So while Tori is out here weaponizing ICE as her campaign commercial, you need to understand the bigger picture. This is what happens when xenophobia isn't just tolerated, it's actually rewarded. The system doesn't need you to be guilty of anything. All it takes is one phone call from a wannabe congresswoman, and boom, lives flipped upside down. So Georgia residents, y'all better pay attention. Because if this is what Tori does as a resident Karen, imagine what she'll do with a seat in Congress.
We have to be the most arrogant and ignorant laughingstock of the world right now, because what the fuck do you mean that South Korea took a chance by agreeing to invest almost $400 billion into the American economy and building the largest plant that Georgia has fucking seen, the Hyundai plant, and then almost immediately after agreeing to all of this, this administration stabs them in the back and betrays them and pulls this fucking shit by handcuffing and treating their citizens and employees in the Hyundai plant in the most inhumane way. By the way, those workers were not living on slave wages or taking American jobs, you fucking imbecile. That plant has already given so many American families jobs just in the construction of it because they used American contractors. They worked with American contractors to build that plant. The whole reason those workers that we went in and handcuffed, embarrassingly, were there is because they are specialists in what they do. Because all of the stuff, all of the machines that they are putting together and programming are designed in South Korea. Okay? Americans cannot set those up and program them. We don't know how. Because it's all engineered and came up with in South Korea from South Korean brains. Okay? So that's what they were here to do. They were temporarily here because they are specialists in what they do to just set it up, program it all, and then train Americans on how to use it. That's when they train all of the American employees. The factory wasn't open yet. They're still setting it up. Oh my God. But you redneck fucking one brain cell racist fucks, that dumb cunt and who called it in, can't have the foresight to see the big picture. All you see is people from another country working in America they must be taking American jobs. No, you dumb bitch. You can't do the job that they're doing. They were going to train everybody after they set everything up. The factory's not open yet. They can't open it yet. They haven't programmed all the machines and set everything up. They haven't trained all of the American employees on how to use everything yet. God damn it, I hate it here. This is the most ignorant fucking country to live in right now. And I've been doing a deep dive on China, and I must say that it is hands down, has to be the best country on the planet right now. Communist and all. Go research China. Go research China. Not from an American propaganda perspective, from what the government wants us to believe. Go research China from people who are living in China. Americans living in China. Go see what Americans living in China are experiencing and what they're going to tell you, because it will absolutely blow your fucking mind. Because what we are told about China here is not the truth. It is what the government wants us to believe, because the government wants us to believe that we live in the best country on earth, because they don't want us to leave, because they want us to continue to feeding into this perpetual capitalist society that does not benefit us but only benefits the elites, right? So that we continue to be slaves into this machine that feeds them while we slave away and deteriorate and just live to survive. While Americans in China, I'm watching their day-to-day lives and they're like, this is crazy. Like, people can afford to live. We are giving healthcare. We're giving food. Food is a human right in China. Food is a human right. You can live off of $10. $10 will give you all the food you need for the day. Good, healthy food. Good, healthy food. Not food that's killing you. Why? Because they have good health care that the government helps provide, because they don't want you to be sick. So they don't allow you to have food that's going to kill you, because it's not profitable for their citizens to be sick. We are the bad place. This is the bad place. This is the bad place. Yes, I do hate it here. So for people who are going to, MAGA motherfuckers who are going to come in my comments, if you hate it here so much, leave. I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on it. I hate it here that much.
Yo, I just saw a video. This lady sitting here admitting to calling ICE on the workers in that Georgia plant, the Korean workers. Bro, once all the research is done and all that on how much money was lost from doing that, all future international business in that part of Georgia, really any part of the South similar to that. For reference, anybody who's been in the South knows you have 1 or 2 big cities in the place and the rest of it is just straight desolate land. It's over, bro. They messed up all future business. All the fast food places that were built and created jobs for people in the area, Dollar Generals, grocery stores, it's over. And these people think they're going to get the jobs in those plants. You think they invested $21 billion to give you, a dirty American citizen, those jobs? Bro, it's over. Y'all dumb as hell, man. You stupid, dumb.
I really don't understand the ICE raid on the Hyundai power plant. It's so comically illogical that my first thought was somebody close to Trump from within his organization is trying to sabotage him by giving stupid instructions to ICE. Because one of the main reasons for tariffs is to encourage foreign companies to operate in US soil. And not for nothing, like that's a valid way to use tariff. All my liberal friends became like the most obnoxious version of someone who's taken Econ 101, like, oh, tariffs get passed straight to the consumer. No, sometimes companies like Hyundai decide to build a factory in the USA to get around the tariffs. I'm not bringing that up to say like the tariffs were like a win. I don't know what the net effect of that was. But Hyundai building a plant in the USA to hire US workers to produce batteries for them to sell, that is literally the textbook scenario of success with the tariff. Literally exactly what you want. And then he raids it with ICE and gets rid of the people. The Koreans were there to set up the factory, which is harder than working at the factory, right? Is setting it up for the first time, and then train US workers to do the job. I tend to give people credit. Like Trump winning the 2016 election, a lot of you are too young to remember this. Like in 2015, Fox News and the Republican Party did not like him. He had to beat the Republicans, and then he had to beat Hillary Clinton to become president for the first time. So I've never thought that he was dumb. I don't think he's a mastermind. Like, oh, 4D chess, like, you know, like I've seen those memes, like his supporters. Like, I don't think that. But he's not dumb. But now I'm thinking that he might actually be. And everything else was like a crazy happy-lucky accident. Like, that's very hard to believe. I think he was smart, and now his mind is starting to go. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what did he think was going to happen? Like, right or wrong, I can't even understand what his thought process was.
A woman who just went online bragging about being the reason 475 people were just arrested. It didn't go the way that you thought, did it? Because the way that you were so happy to share with the world voluntarily that you were the one that contacted ICE, that got that Hyundai plant that was in the middle of being constructed, completely shut down, and over 400 people arrested, most of them being Koreans, which you seemed kind of confused about until you realized that Hyundai is owned by Koreans, and that the reason they had so many people from other countries here was because they knew they were going to have to train Americans to do this job, because all of their instructions from Korea were in Korean. So they got approval to send people here to the United States to construct their massive facility in the way that you were like, now look, there's over 475 jobs that are now going to be available for people in Georgia because they weren't giving these jobs to Georgians. That's right, they couldn't give these jobs to people in Georgia because none of them spoke the language. In her narrative of bringing 475 jobs to people in Georgia are making the world laugh, because anyone who understands that they were just constructing this facility, this was going to be a facility that would have given nearly 9,000 jobs to people in Georgia. She had zero concept of that. All she saw were people from other countries in her state, specifically in her town, and it upset her so much that she contacted ICE and said that she was doing it because they had unsafe working environments and they weren't getting paid enough. So she contacted ICE. Because of her fight for the people of Georgia, they have lost all of their people who were going to train them for the jobs that this facility would have brought. The owners of this facility, the investors, the people paying for it and bringing all of these jobs into the state of Georgia, are now threatening to can it all. That's right, they are going to shut down this construction site, and they are not going to continue building their facility that would have brought almost 9,000 jobs to her state. Would have not known any of this had she not come online and bragged about it. Oh, and she's also running for Congress.
South Korea is reportedly halting 22 U.S. investment projects. This is a direct response to Donald Trump's ICE raiding a Georgia factory and detaining 475 workers. Their justification was protecting American jobs. If this stuff matters to you, make sure you like and follow. While Donald Trump was posting on Truth Social about protecting American workers, the South Korean government was mobilizing, expressed concern and regret, sending consular officials to Georgia, and lodged diplomatic protests. They cut a deal to get roughly 300 of their citizens freed and flown back to Korea on a chartered flight. But getting their people back was just damage control. The real fallout is what they're doing now. The Korea Economic Daily reported that in the wake of the raid, at least 22 other factories involving Korean business group have been nearly halted. We're talking about projects in auto manufacturing, shipbuilding, and electronics, all paused. Hyundai and LG literally told their staff to suspend any non-essential business travels to the United States. This is what business with Donald Trump looks like. He didn't protect a single American job. He just sabotaged billions in investment to look tough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, follow for more.
There is a critical detail that is being left out of every American news outlet that's reporting on this. And that's the fact that the part of the plant that got raided the other day is the part of the plant that makes batteries for electric vehicles, which isn't even operational yet, not till early 2026. And that might not seem like an important detail to many people, but it leaves the story open to so much interpretation of people thinking things like this, that the South Korean company just came to America and instead of hiring American workers, that they just illegally brought people via like shipping containers or something. And a lot of people don't know this because I never talk about it here, but at my last corporate job at Red Bull, one of my many responsibilities was expansions, which meant that anytime Red Bull wanted to expand, whether their headquarters or warehouse and operations, I was a part of the team that made that happen. And just like any corporate expansion, like let's say a new McDonald's pops up, when McDonald's comes into town, they don't just hire brand new people from that town and just go, well, I hope they know what they're doing and I hope it's up to McDonald's standards. No. They take their most tenured, seniored, and experienced people within McDonald's and they send them to that brand new location to not only set up the location, make sure all the machinery and everything they need is there, but then they hire and train all the brand new employees for months. And that's exactly what they were doing. There were so many Korean people there at that plant, not because they were taking away American jobs, because again, there is literally no job to be done because they're not even in production yet. They're literally there setting up the factories and getting ready to start hiring people and training them. And this was confirmed in Korea, by the way. This is from Korean news outlets where they stated that 47 people were from LG and 250 people were for the suppliers for that plant, which means that they were literally all there setting up the logistics for this plant when they become operational next year. In addition, when a country like South Korea is like, hey US, we want to invest $350 billion into your economy by forcing Korean companies to set up industries in the United States, and the United States is like, yeah, we'll accept your money. But then our government spends all year literally being a circus, cutting departments that are essential to realizing that $350 billion investment by allowing people from South Korea to be able to come and make sure that it's set up, which again is literally what happened, which is literally why there were people like engineers that were there who had to get creative doing things like using the visa waiver program, which allows them to legally be in the United States for up to 90 days to either do business or tourism to, again, attend business meetings and be there for less than 2 weeks, but then they end up getting detained anyway? And Hyundai, I know I'm nobody to you, even though you're about to enter into a $5 billion joint venture with my family's company, SK. I think you should take those 15,000 plus jobs that you're about to create in Georgia and take it somewhere. I can't remember the name of the country, but I swear there's a country that is about to have an influx of people living there who are going to be looking for jobs.
To that lady who called for ICE to go and raid that Hyundai plant over there in Georgia, I hope you have the day that you deserve. They detained 500 workers, and out of 500 of those workers, 450 of them was South Korean. Okay, so let me get this right. So South Korea opened up that plant in Georgia to bring business to the U.S. and to bring jobs to the U.S. And they sent their qualified people to train Americans on how to do that job. And yet they got detained. Not only possibly did you just cost the state that you currently reside in billions of dollars, but if South Korea decides to cease operations and just shut the whole damn plant down. You think that far ahead? See, that's be our problem. Y'all don't think that far ahead because you can't even see past your own nose. So you're talking about, oh, it's going to open up over 400 jobs for Americans. Ain't going to be no job if the plant not there anymore. I mean, if over 400 jobs was opened up to Americans, who going to train them? Y'all just detained their trainers.
So the Korean government have decided to send in charter aircraft to come pick 450 staffs of the Hyundai staffs, Korea staffs, sorry, that were being arrested by ICE. Remember, they were taken away, and let me tell you, the way they were taken away, it's so brutal. You're going to see the footages after this one I'm seeing right now. I'm going to show you those footages. You can't imagine picking up these people who came to work and then you're taking them to detention. Korean government are sending down their own aircraft to come get their people before they are being transported to another country. So let's watch these videos and I'll be back.
트럼프 정부 규탄한다. 규탄한다. No one is illegal. No one is illegal.
이것은 명백한 인권 침해입니다. 국제인권 기준에도 반합니다.
So South Korea's government came out and said they are going to defend and have the backs of the workers that were arrested in Georgia. I would like to shed some light on this because I worked in a facility very similar to that for about 7 years. Specifically, I want to talk about this video first. You see all the guys in the white helmets and the uniform jumpsuits? Those are South Korean engineers. The facility I worked at was Japanese owned and they did the same exact thing. Okay, it's a South Korean facility. So it makes a lot of sense for them to have South Korean engineers over here building it. Furthermore, I guarantee this is what happened because in that video, you can see them clearly giving ICE agents paperwork. If they were illegal, they wouldn't have fucking paperwork. But here's what it is. It's called a non-migrant visa. Believe it or not, foreign workers under certain agreements can work in the United States temporarily. It's usually for like a 4 to 6 week period of time. Then you got to go back home for like 4 to 6 weeks as well. But then you can come back and do it again under specific circumstances. This is exactly what the Japanese did when they built the facility I worked at. It was built by Japanese engineers, but American workers ran the facility. And here's a fun fact for you. Almost 7% of manufacturing facilities in the United States are owned by foreign companies. Do you want to know why they put their facilities in the United States? Because on average, we actually work for less. So that means they would have to pay their people in their country more. So why would they have illegal migrants working here? Just put them to work where they're already there. Makes no sense. But before I go, there's been now articles coming out where there were supposed to be upwards to 8,000 American jobs that were going to be available at that plant when it was done being built. Yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. Okay, bye.
The only people that are mad about this raid in Ellaville, Georgia at the Hyundai MAGA site are probably people that don't pay taxes.
Shut up, loser. When you think MAGA can't be any dumber, they up it. They up the ante every time. LG and Hyundai are Korean companies, correct? You can correct me in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure they're both South Korean companies, right? And so Trump worked out a deal where they bring some of their manufacturing over to the United States. They settled in Georgia, which is good for Georgia's economy. It's also good for the local workers as well, for them to be able to get a job. I want people to understand something. When you bring a company over from another country, it is not uncommon for them to bring workers that actually know. Those workers, 9 times out of 10, are not just working the lines. They're training people. They're training people to get the job done. Okay, the way that they want to do it. It's creating more jobs. And I live in Douglasville, so I'm right next to Carrollton, right? It's not even done yet. I don't think the warehouses and stuff are actually done, but they're coming over here to work on the cars, but also they're building out more buildings here in this little countryside. So, baby, you stop them from working. You know, South Korea is like, we're going to bring them home. The people that know how to do this, we're going to bring them home. That's going to also slow down production. Yeah, we're going to get them to fuck up out of there before they get hurt. Which is going to fuck up other foreign agreements, which is going to fuck up other things because they see how you guys treat foreigners. Y'all, that racism and bigotry is expensive. And we're about to pay the price.
What you're seeing here is an ICE raid at an EV battery plant in Georgia, run by Hyundai Motor and LG Energy Solution, units of some of South Korea's biggest conglomerates. And it's left officials in Seoul worried and even outraged.
It's a very interesting situation that took place in Georgia. We heard about it yesterday. At the same time, ICE was doing right because they were here illegally. But we do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves.
It's still unclear what visas the workers held, but the raid comes just weeks after South Korean President Lee Jae-myung's meeting with Donald Trump, where the two held a summit to showcase their alliance and solidify a new trade pact that included a $350 billion fund to help Korean firms expand in the U.S. Private companies pledged an additional $150 billion in direct U.S. investments. Now the e-government is facing pressure. Lawmakers in Seoul are calling the mass detentions a stab in the back and warning it could derail new investments. Images of workers shackled and marched onto buses were splashed across Korean front pages, infuriating South Koreans. U.S. officials, meanwhile, say the raid was a result of a months-long investigation and not politically motivated.
She didn't just call ICE on workers. She called ICE on 85,000 Georgia jobs and basically told South Korea, we cannot be trusted. And now she's running for Congress. The Hyundai LG battery plant wasn't just another factory. It was part of a historical investment. Billions of dollars promised to American job market by South Korea. Think about it. At a time when North Korea is flexing missiles and playing war games, South Korea took a leap of faith, choosing to invest in America, creating clean energy jobs, and partnering with us on future technology. That's not just business. That's diplomatic. That's an alliance. Now here's where it gets messy. The workers in Hyundai were brought in. They were here legally, with work authorizations, all above board. The company did nothing wrong. But when a political stunt like this happens, calling ICE on legal workers, it doesn't just create chaos in Georgia. It makes us look like we cannot keep our word. South Korea said, we'll bring jobs, money, and innovation to America. And this ICE stunt basically set us back. We'll repay you with harassment and betrayal. That's how you lose trust from global partners. That's how you make allies think twice before ever investing here again. So let's be crystal clear. This wasn't patriotism. This was sabotage. She didn't just jeopardize Georgia jobs. She jeopardized America's credibility. And if she's willing to sell out our allies and our economy for a headline, imagine what she'd do in Congress.
The way these people were being treated is what matters. I didn't know a damn thing about the Koreans. That wasn't my dish, and obviously that's being investigated because they had work visas that had expired.
First of all, Tori, you look like the love child of Kate Gosselin and Mama June. Second, you should see what the President of the United States has to say about this, because he's walking this back as well.
It's a battery factory in that case, as I'm told. And, you know, when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people.
Because Hyundai, pronounced like Sunday, not Hyundai like you're saying, is a Korean company. So it makes sense in this instance that Hyundai would send Korean nationals over to train people as those factories are being built. And I notice you have your comments turned off in your most recent video, so it sounds like someone can't take the heat. Because you potentially royally screwed up the Georgia economy. You're risking potentially up to 8,500 jobs. And you said that you didn't know that there were Korean workers there, which means that you probably didn't know anything at all. Because if it's already difficult for you to pronounce Hyundai, then, you know, I'm assuming that a lot of other things are probably difficult for you too. But anyways, have the day you deserve.
That Asian girl really got up here and said, well, ICE usually doesn't target Asian people. Did you just, figure out that you're a minority? Money and respectability politics won't ever work out in your favor. It never equates to being white and rich, the two things you need to be, which you're not if you're Asian, so, you know. And where the Asians for Trump at? Y'all real quiet. Really quiet. Yeah, it's all fun and game to laugh at black and brown people until it's your turn. Oh, wait, and then she said, well, ICE usually just removes the criminals. Hilarious. They don't think they are a minority, and I don't know if it's just the education or colonialism, whatever the case may be. I'm speechless, because it's like watching it in real time. You wouldn't think that you would have these examples set out in front of you once you read about them, once you read about proximity, respectability politics, and you see the shit in action. You're like, wow. Oh, no wonder why we're all in this situation. Clearly, a lot of y'all don't think you're a minority. A lot of y'all don't understand the construct of this society and how it depends on you being a minority. Interesting.
Look at this picture my mom sent me from Korea. She's over there visiting right now. Look how Trump is being depicted. Like a little criminal. I mean, but a cute one because everything Koreans make is cute. But yeah, that's what they think of him. Well, some people. I always have to say some people because if you say Koreans, the people are like, I'm Korean and I don't feel that way. Okay. Anyway, the sign says he demanded we invest, then denied our work visas, demand Trump apologize now. And the apology part is very big, I think, in Korean culture because it recognizes that you did something wrong, right? So when you apologize, what that does is at least you recognize that you did something wrong. You know, at least do that much. And further denying is just, it's going to make things worse. I think in America, we need to have more of this kind of depiction too. Stop drawing Trump with a suit and tie on. Put him in this outfit. It's more clear that he is a criminal and he is corrupt, and like covering up for it like the Republican Party does on the near constant basis every day is just like, at this point, this is what you're covering up. Very clearly, in all languages, in all countries, people see Trump is a criminal.
Now that we've all seen 300 Korean engineers in Georgia get hauled away in chains, I have something quick to say to my fellow Korean Americans who voted for this orange president. 야, 300명의 한국 엔지니어들 끌려가는 거 봤어? 아이스가 들어닥치면은 니들은 시민권자라고 안전할 것 같아? 신발끈 단단히 묶고 있어라. 들어닥치면 니들도 튀어야 될지 몰라. 알았어?
Hyundai was bringing 8,000 jobs to Georgia until ICE raids killed that deal. Hyundai was bringing $350 billion worth of economic growth to the United States, a deal that was generating 8,000 jobs for people that lived all around the Georgia area. However, a wannabe congressperson who wasn't actually running in the district where the construction was being held called in anonymous tips, brought ICE agents to the Hyundai facility in Georgia, and conducted a raid that locked up 475 individuals. Hyundai is sending a plane here to bring back their people that had been detained. Truth is that if ICE agents were building cases the way they were supposed to, perhaps maybe this wouldn't have happened. Perhaps if this wannabe congressperson actually realized that her actions were going to jeopardize 8,000 new jobs in the Georgia area, perhaps maybe we wouldn't have this happen. And $350 billion is now in stake of being lost. Hyundai has come out and said that they're going to slow down production because now they have to be concerned with whether or not the people they send over are going to be locked up by ICE agents while these people are helping set up these facilities for those 8,000 new.
Did you see these videos of an immigration raid at a Hyundai construction site in Georgia? Listen to this.
Warrant for this entire construction site, okay? We're Homeland Security. We have a search warrant for the whole site. We need construction to cease immediately. We need all work to end on the site right now.
This happened at the construction site for the Hyundai and LG Energy Solutions new battery plant in Georgia, where agents from FBI, DEA, ICE, HSI, Georgia State Patrol, and others detained 450 people, including more than 300 Korean nationals. According to reports, agents went into the facility and asked everyone if they were U.S. citizens. Then they put U.S. citizens on one side and everyone else put on the other side and harassed and forced to show their immigration paperwork. Because of the raid, the South Korean government is very concerned about its company's investments in the U.S. and the treatment of its people. The South Korean government is trying to figure out why the construction site was raided, saying that the detained South Koreans had entered the U.S. on a B-1 temporary visitor visa. However, it is unclear if those workers subsequently tried to get a work visa or if they even knew that they couldn't work with the visa they had. But like we have seen from this administration, they're going after migrants regardless of their status. Hyundai did say that they're working with the US government in the investigation, but if this is how the US is going to treat workers, maybe more companies and potential employees should reconsider coming to the US. Look, I'm not trying to defend corporations that are probably taking advantage of their workers and their status. I'm concerned about the people. A lot of people were detained, which means kids probably went home with either one or both of their parents missing. These are people who are working, most likely paying taxes, and their only infraction is probably not having the proper paperwork to work in the US. And out of desperation, they took a job. This could all be a lot easier if the US government actually let people adjust their status. If you think these people can migrate all the way to the US, get a job, pay taxes, but somehow they're not smart enough or law-abiding enough to adjust their status, then you have no idea how the immigration system actually works. This government makes it intentionally difficult for people to adjust their immigration status. Or in the case of the Trump administration, revoking people's status to make them undocumented. So undocumented people can be exploited, used as pawns in these political games, and at the end are the ones that are blamed for everything while the bosses and corporations get off free.
This is the Korean airplane.
I wish every other government is going to be happy. Honestly, I wish every other government is going to happily come and get these people, right? And get their peoples that are in the detention, those people that are in the Alcatraz and all of that. I hope other presidents and other people will see this and be like, okay, let's go get our people. Our people are really suffering because the condition in those detention centers is what you don't even wish on your enemies, right? So this is a wake-up call. Korean government, I applaud you all for actually doing this. This is a welcoming development, right? But what do you think this is going to do to America? A lot of people, companies are going to start distancing themselves from America. A lot of people will not want to have anything to do with America anymore. This is going to have a huge effect on the economy of America in the coming days and years. I want to see, do you think it's true? Let me see it in the comment section. Do not forget it's Global Gist with BJ. My name is Blessing. I love you all and I will see you on the next one. Kindly subscribe, like, and share this video. Why are you not subscribing? Why have you not liked and why have you not shared my video? Let's go and support your sister from the motherland. Bye, guys.